Hey everyone, have I here been a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, it is time for another edition of Best Teams on Global. This is the Worldwide Celebration 2023 edition. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And as you can still tell, my voice is a little bit shot. The funny thing is, nothing wrong with me. Like, I feel fine, the energy's good, I don't feel sick, but I just don't have a voice. It's very frustrating. So I'm doing this video, I'm going to struggle through it. Hopefully you guys can understand what I'm saying. But if I don't record it now, it might be until like another week before this video comes out. So I wanted to do it now here. So let's go ahead and start with a disclaimer. The term best teams is my opinion and it's purely subjective. There's no official tier list or best teams ranking from Akatsuki or Bandai. And of course, how I rank my teams, look at leader skill, damage defense, special skills, flex, bench, and strength, game mode effectiveness, and overall gameplay. Remember, bench strength is important. Game mode effectiveness overall, not just end game, is important to me. And of course, when I look at game mode effectiveness right now, the Worldwide Celebration has brought us, a lot of people would say the hardest red zone with Merzumasu. We also have the Defined Wraith and Mortal Will, and then the SL Max, and then the rest of the red zones. You also look at Extreme Super Battle Road, and all the other events within the game. And if you look at some of the things that I did, I normally don't do these types of things, was like a tier list on the LRs that are currently in the game right now. And this was the tier list that I did in the video. Go ahead and check out that video if you haven't seen it. But I do talk about, the people are just like, hey, this one should go higher and higher. Yes, I know. I think the top three, you could, flip around and change. And do that no problem. You can do 7 and 8, but again, this is always tough to rank because these units are very, very close to each other. It's just kind of nitpicking from then on then out. So now the biggest question in this best teams ranking, remember I'm only ranking 10 teams, is who do I merge? Because last month, I think it was a lot easier because really I didn't merge too many teams except for Movie Heroes, and then also for Power of Wishes. So I was like, okay, what do I do here? Do I merge this? Because Future Saga, there's a bunch of Future Saga leads, right? Do I separate them? Do I put them together? So that was a very, very difficult decision. But before I dive into that, I wanted to at least go through a few honorable mentions because we have teams on this list here that is no longer a part of the top 10. We have new people dropping in to the top 10 here. First and foremost is the number 10 spot is honorable mention now Turtle Skull. Got really no upgrades, and it's still a fantastic team to run. It's just not competing with the top 10 anymore. Another one, it would be Powerful Comeback. Again, no really a big benefit to the team, and I think still a solid team. Again, that drops off from the top 10. Then you also have two teams that, getting closer to the top 10. Goku's family got a nice little boost here. It's 170% boost. So I think if it was a 200% boost, I might even squeak them into the top 10. But having the Future Gohan, LR Future Gohan, and the EZA in Gohan running on a rotation is very, very strong. So again, a good honorable mention there. And the one that came the closest to me to saying, you know what, let me think about, should I move this, slide this into the 10th spot here, is Fuse Fighters GT Heroes with the 7-year anniversary LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? So as you can see, it did get a vast upgrade where you can run the Merzumasu, AGL Zamasu, Infinite Zamasu together, and then the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta into LR Vegeta Blue. That's on the list there, but the problem is just the bench strength isn't all that there. Conducively, you're not going to be using the domain with Infinite Zamasu, and anyway, just has some issues, but I did consider them moving into the 10th spot. So let's go ahead and dive into the top 10 teams. So I guess, not dropping this one in the top 10 and was because I didn't want to take this one out of the top 10 yet, because it reigned supreme for a very long time, and of course as time goes by things have to change, and that's Movie Heroes. So Movie Heroes, in combination with the Joint Forces leader in Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta here, in combination of the LR Gods, and of course Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, they're all Movie Hero leaders, but they're all just a little bit differently. This one here had the biggest upgrade of course, with Super Saiyan Blue, LR Vegito Blue there. But everything else, well, this one also had it as well. So these two got the biggest upgrades. But this team here did not get any upgrades. I just think they're still a solid team. They're an amazing team to run. And I would still consider them in the top 10, maybe for not long though. So if they don't get another boost or something on their team, they're just going to fall out just because they're just going to be less relevant, and better units are going to be in place of their team. So coming to number 10, the downfall from number 1 for a long time, Movie Heroes down here to, or at least top 3 for a long time. Movie Heroes coming in at number 10. So moving into the number 9 spot, it did drop a couple places, but a lot of teams dropped out of everything, right? And a lot of people moved up in this list here. And that's going to be Battle of Wits. I think Battle of Wits, most people don't talk about like how good of a team you can run with Battle of Wits. You do get 2 upgrades here with the Trunks and the LR Trunks and Vegito Blue. You can run them on main rotation. I actually think it's a really nice main rotation with the LR Goku and the Vegito Blue. It's it runs pretty well. Of course, Vegito Blue is always hit or miss there because his dodge mechanic in the first position. You really want to make sure that they can actually dodge, because they could take a lot of damage in the first position. But still, we know how that unit works as it builds up, and once it becomes Vegito Blue, all bets are off, right? So I think this is still a great team here. Number 9 spot is, I think, a solid spot for them. Being a 200% lead, it does provide limit on their bench strength, but I think Battle of Wits really has a lot of top tier units that you can actually use. So coming in at number 8, I actually had them at number higher up, but I was like, how can I put them higher than the number 7 spot? And I was making concessions, but I think I'm settling in with the number 8 spot is the Bottom Master Disciple team here with the LR Kid Gohan. Amazing team with the new LR Future Gohan running with LR GG. Of course, you have the Piccolo combination, which is always solid, but I think really the biggest upgrade is the support, right? The support unit for the INT. Transforming Future Gohan there helps out this team tremendously, being that it's a solid unit that you can actually run on main rotation if you wanted to. You can kind of just switch that up, and making this team very versatile. However, again, being a 200% leader, you do have a lot of good Bottom Master Disciple units on here. I was like, oh, where do I put them in? Right, a fantastic standalone team, a very, very big upgrade for them, and they're able to stay in the 10 in the top 10. But I actually was thinking about putting them a little bit higher as well. But I think some of the flexibility of the other teams really struck me more so than just the standalone team. But I think it's a very, very good standalone team is the Bottom Master's Disciple with the LR Kid Gohan. All right, so coming in number 7 might surprise a lot of you because you're like, oh, why is it so low? And that's going to be the Infinite Zamasu team. Now, of course, this is being recorded before we got the details for LR Rose. I am just going to be, positive and optimistic that Rose is going to be a good enough unit that you can run as a floater. All right, I'm just going to put him on there for now. Now, he might actually end up be good enough to be in main rotation, so you could switch that up with LR Rosemasu there. But ultimately, I am just going to put him on there. Now, the reason why I have this on number 7, I think maybe some of you guys might have him in the top 5. It's crowded up in the top 5, all right? And it's crowded by super class characters because, once again, Red Zone being more dominant with Extreme Class, super class is just more valuable overall. Now, Infinite Zamasu is a great unit, but also on top of that, the supporting cast of this, even though it provides you 150% to any extreme class on there, which is a incredible leader skill, you're still just have access to extreme class units, right? Whereas where we're going to talk about LR Vegito Blue, he has access to all super class units, which is a way higher value. So, but ultimately, yes, Infinite Zamasu, super strong character. I think the team in of itself, lacks some floaters, and then a main rotation with LR. Rosemasu can hold its own. but I would love to see a better spot on that. So unfortunately, I did just put him at number 7. I think some of you guys, this might be the one that you guys disagree a lot with more, especially with your Zamasu fans out there, but I do have him in the number 7 spot. So coming in at number 6, these I think dropped a little bit here, is Pure Saiyan's Hybrid Saiyans. Now again, this is where it differs, right? You're using a lot more superclass units, and you're like, okay, well, Zamasu is better than Godku. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's better than Godku, but Godku's running as a floater on here, and I think the floaters on here, maybe he's not better than Piccolo Jr., but still holds its own down here, and it synergizes even better, more so. So you do get a huge upgrade here with a Hybrid Saiyan, but only running at 170% in the Future Gohan, but you also have the LR Vegeta Blue. But with Pure Saiyans, Hybrid Saiyans, your bench strength is wide. It's very, very big. And again, it's a lot with superclass units versus your extreme class with Infinite Zamasu. So I just held that to a little bit more advantage there. Yes, there is some RNG here with the dodging mechanic for Goku, things like that. But again, the upgrades here with Future Gohan, with also Trunks is available on this team as well. He'll only run at 170 though. And then LR Vegeta Blue, I think it's good enough because now you see the first inclination of one of my top favorite units, and one of the top units in the game is LR Spear Bomb GT, right? So coming in number 6 is Pure Saiyans, Hybrid Saiyans with the Godku. And coming in at starting the number 5 spot. So this is the top 5. It was very difficult, guys. Very difficult for me to rank this. And again, I think there is going to be some criticisms and some disagreements here. But coming in number 5 is Earthbred Fighters' powerful comeback with World Tournament Goku. Of course, you can run a Yamcha as alt leader, but you're not going to do that. Fantastic team, given to the fact that this is the first team that you're actually seeing with LR Bulma that's really supporting this whole entire team. Now, yes, you are only running Future Gohan at 170%, but that still works out fine with a double support here with Bulma that can support with 2 turns, and then like Yajirobe. You have a lot of support units for Earthbred Fighters powerful comeback. You have any of those Piccolos you can run on there. You can run Mai, you can run a lot of units, and I think with Earthbred Fighters and powerful comeback together and Battle of Fate, you do have a lot of options running at 200%. So I think the bench strength is widely strong, and then overall, once you build up World Tournament Goku, you can still do a lot of damage and a lot of benefit there. And you can even run this on main rotation if you wanted to as well, if you don't have some of these other top tier units. And again, having LR Bulma on a team is going to be hugely beneficial, right? And anytime you can run Bulma on a team, you definitely want to do that. So coming in number 5 is the Earthbred Fighters and powerful comeback with World Tournament Goku. Coming in number 4, I couldn't drop this any lower, right? Because you're able to run 2 of the top tier units on one team, and that is Superheroes and Battle of Wits. A lot of people still think LROP is the number 1 unit in the game, and I cannot disagree if you feel that way. I think, as you saw, my top LRs is, LR Spirit Bomb GT, LROP, and LR Future Gohan. Those units are kind of interchangeable on the top. So now you're able to run this and add some other units on here, like the LR Vegeta Blue. You can add Trunks on here. It did get kind of a slight upgrade when it comes to supporting cast as well, as if you don't have like LR Goku as a support, you can run LR Zamasu and Gowasu as defensive support if you wanted to, and then you can even run Mai on this team, if you want a super cast buff without any key buff, right? So I think, again, it's still a top tier team with 2 Piccolos. Being able to use his active skill twice is a cheat code. But on top of that, one of the reasons why they're staying in the top 4, top 5, and I just can't move them down any lower is, and nor do I kind of want to, is Gohan's team got a big boost. So this is a combination of superheroes, right? And you're primarily using a bunch of superheroes teams here, or superheroes units here. But the Hybrid Saiyan unit, right, of Future Gohan here makes this team incredibly strong. So you can see how you can run this with Piccolo, with Kid Gohan. But of course, the problem with not Beast Gohan is that it's just not Beast Gohan, right? So yes, great team, really fun team here. If I separated it, would this land in the top 10? I think so. I think this team could land in the top 10 if I separated it, but it does land in the 4th spot with Piccolo being the majority team, right? But I did have to fuse and merge stuff together, and in this case we ended up doing so. So 3, 2, and 1 was the most difficult decision. I went back and forth on this, and there's an argument for every single one. So I said, okay, so interchangeable, right? So coming in at number 3, probably a surprise to a lot of you. I actually had him at number 1, but I was like, I just think you can't do it. Is actually Team Vegeta Blue, right? Battle of Fate, Future Saga, Power Beyond Super Saiyan with Realm of Gods Time Travelers, and then that Super Class 150. That Super Class 150 is what makes this this team here a top 3 team, and arguably can even be top 1 because of the crazy amount of flexibility, right? And it was something that I had to judge and I say, you know what, do I end up doing this and moving this to number 1? I just ultimately said, I'm not going to end up actually doing that. So one of the reasons why is that this team here is the only team that you can run all top 10 LRs on one team anytime, right? Running at mostly 170, but you do have a couple 150s that you run like with Bulma right here. And but that's also its detriment as well, is that the units that you're going to be running are generally going to be at 170, not at 200%, and that's a shame, right? That's a shame there. Now you see that, you know, LR Vegeta Blue and LRGG in the same rotation. You do have to switch them up sometimes, right? So kind of keep that in mind if you are going to run that on the same position there. But yeah, it was very difficult for me because I love bench strength and flexibility, and I said, you know, this is the best team because it has the best leader skill, and it does have the best leader skill because of the flexibility. I just think it's lacking a few things. And you might go, well, wait a minute, it's a Future Saga leader. Why don't you merge it with something else? I had to separate the other Future Saga, the 2 major ones that I think will be explained right now in why I ended up just having this as the number 3 spot. So coming in number 3 is LR Vegeta Blue's team with you know, all these categories: Battle of Fate, Future Saga, Power Beyond Super Saiyan with Realm of Gods Time Travelers, and then all Super Class at 150. Coming in number 2, again, number 2 and number 1 for me, I flip-flop a bunch of times as well. I'm going to stick with it, though, is going to be Future Gohan's team. Now, standalone team-wise, I think this is the best, or one of the best, top 3 best teams that you can run standalone, right? That's talking about endgame only and doesn't really care about the flexibility. But because it's a 200% lead, you do have the issue of bench strength and flexibility. It's not there. Now, the reason why I was able to put this at number 2, because it doesn't really have that much flexibility, you got to have these units or you don't, is because I merged it with Bottom Parent and Child and Future Saga. You might go, well, that's cheating because Bottom Parent and Child is such a flexible category, and you are absolutely right. It's extremely flexible, but you know, you're running mostly Future Saga here. You're running mostly Future Saga here as well, except for, you know, the support unit in this case scenario, and LR Spirit Bomb Z, or Spirit Bomb GT, which is of course a fantastic unit you can run. I had to combine these, right? Because you guys would probably riot if I had this unit, if I had this team lower than top 5, and like I probably wouldn't do it, but it would also knock like Earthbred fighters out of the top 5, which wouldn't kind of make any sense either. So I ended up merging these 2 here. It was again the decision of this is primarily Future Saga, whereas this you can run a bunch of different units, and then that super class has a lot of flexibility. So could I combine all 3 of these and they'll be number 1? Yeah. If I combine all 3 of these, I would say that Future Saga is the number 1 team in the game, but I ended up not doing that. So that leaves us with the number 1 spot, and it's still Power of Wishes. I still think Power of Wishes is the #1 team in the game. It got a bunch of upgrades. You can run a 200% Vegeta Blue. You can run a 200% Mers Infinite Zamasu. You can run Trunks on here. The only unit you can't run is Future Gohan, which a lot of people have that as #1. So I understand why you might go, okay, I don't think that this is the best team in the game. I still think so because of flexibility. The leader skill is, I think, much better. You can run Bulma, whereas you can't run Bulma on any of these. So you're like, okay, you can't run Gohan on this team, but you can run Bulma on this team. So which one would you rather have? So again, it's tough. It's tough when you're up on this top 3 here and trying to make your concessions and make your decisions. But you can run a lot of different options, whereas you have less options on the Future Saga because you're primarily just running Future Saga. Now I did merge this, the Z unit. The Power Wishes is a part of this, but as a sub category here. Because that's still a fun team to run, but if you do already have, the GTLR, you're not going to be running the Z unit, right? So of course that is the secondary. So there you have it. Very interesting in seeing what your guys' thoughts are on all this. And we're looking at now the summary here of the top 10 coming in. Number 10, Movie Heroes. Number 9, with Battle of Wits. Number 8, Bond of Master and Disciple. Number 7 with Infinite Zamasu's team, and then you have number 6 with Pure Saiyans Hybrid Saiyans, Earthbred Fighters, and number 5 Superheroes with Piccolo. At number 4 you have Future Saga Realm of Gods, and basically I'll just call it the Vegeta Blue team because of the flexibility of it, and Superclass is number 3. Then you have Future Saga with an addition of Bond and Parent and Child at number 2, and then number 1 still holding true with Power of Wishes. And again, I'm just going to use this highlight here. You can switch them up. If I merge these together, they're number 1 as Future Saga, but I just kept it separately because I think it's a little bit different on there. So tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Again, I do want to hear your guys' thoughts there of my current list. And of course, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning, and we will catch you next time. Later.